Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I This is gonna be a little bit different. I have just watched um Jurassic World Rebirth yesterday as of recording this video, and I kind of wanted to give my own opinions out there before I get into spoilers. I'm gonna do a spoiler free part and then a spoilers part. Overall, the movie was like fine. It was okay. The story was not that interesting, not gonna lie. It was kind of lame throughout. It's not insultingly bad, but if you were expecting something like great, like like the great like next Jurassic, like if you were expecting another Jurassic Park level of good, no, this is not it. In my opinion, this is honestly like story-wise the least interesting movie. I mean, Jurassic Park 3 does exist, but I honestly feel like Jurassic Park 3 is kind of better than this movie, than Rebirth. And you're gonna get to see some gameplay here. Anyway, um, so yeah, overall, it's an okay movie. It's not terrible. It's not good. It's just okay. There's nothing much to it. Um, Overall, that's just about it. There's not really much to it. There's not a lot to talk about. Now, there is a lot of stuff, if you do watch this movie, that's gonna drive you absolutely insane. Like, the logic in this movie, like, just the way things play out in this movie, it's absolutely absurd. Like, there's parts where it's, like, perfectly normal, like, oh, yeah, this makes sense, this happens, blah, blah, blah. But then there's some scenes that, like, you think, like, how the heck did they come up with that? What made them think that would be a good a good idea? Cause it's absolutely insane. Ooh, I forgot he was here. Oh shoot. Um, like what made them think that was a good idea? Genuinely, cause I'm like one of the first scenes that comes up, and I'm not gonna spoil it yet. Uh, I'll let you know in the video when to if you want to skip. Uh, I'll let you know when I start spoiling. But anyway, the thing is, I don't understand the logic here. The very first few scenes, the first scene of the movie, immediately just like, oh my god, okay, he's still asleep. Okay, like it immediately just like throws all common sense out the window. So for those who haven't watched the movie, I do kind of recommend watching it if you're like okay with like a mid movie, because it is genuinely a mid movie. It's nothing crazy, but also nothing terrible. So like, I would watch it again. Probably not, but like, I would. Okay, now we're gonna start getting into spoiler territory. So if you haven't watched the video, so if you haven't watched the movie, you can go watch it and then come back to hear my opinion. Um, First part of the movie, we get to this. We're in this lab where basically it's the lab where the D-Rex was made, the mutant T-Rex, right? It's where this thing was created, and it's when it's the incident and when it escaped. Although some people don't really know if it actually is when it escaped uh, because of reasons that have to do with how the place looks after the incident and before the incident, blah blah blah. But I'm not gonna get into that. Um, so these scientists are gonna go into the enclosure of the D-Rex, right? And I'll give you a little pop quiz. What do you think allows the D-Rex to set free? Is it a system failure, like faulty vents or something like that? Is it the D-Rex just busted through like a champ? Or was it C, a Snickers bar? Just think. Just give your best guess. And for all of you who chose the Snickers bar, you're absolutely correct. Somehow, a singular Snickers bar was enough to absolutely just ruin the entire facility's security system. So what happened is that apparently some genius at that lab decided, oh yeah, we're gonna put that event at the very bottom of that door, that specific door that leads to that specific room, that is somehow connected to every single security system in the freaking lab. So it got that Snickers bar, the Snickers wrapper was sucked up by the ventilation system and basically just ruined everything. All of the systems. Hold up, where's my T-Rex? Am I gonna have to make another one? Okay. All of the systems, all the security systems in that lab just shut down. And of course, the D-Rex escapes and whatnot. And there's a very annoying part in the movie when the D-Rex does escape. It's this lady that she's on the other side. If you've seen the trailer, you know the scene with the guy that's stuck inside the enclosure with the D-Rex inside the red room place. Well, he's over here begging her to open the door. It's one of those things where you have to two people have to turn the key at the same time, like nuclear missile launch type of stuff. And she doesn't do it because she's too scared of the freaking D-Rex to even process anything in her stupid brain. And what was frustrating to me was, first of all, that thing is absolutely massive. The D-Rex is absolutely massive. You see at the end of the movie how big this thing actually is. And that is a tiny door for that creature. So for her to be like, oh, it's gonna get out, blah blah blah, like, it's not gonna get out. Like, it's gonna it might get out, but it's gonna struggle a lot because that is one small door. And so they go back and forth. The guy's like begging her to turn the key and whatnot. I mean, he doesn't want to die. I mean, kind of normal stuff. And eventually he does get snatched. He gets kidnapped by the D-Rex. And then the lady's just like apologizing, crying and everything. And I mean, I guess, yeah, you're like in shock, you know, blah blah blah, whatever, but you could have saved him. Why are you crying about it now? You could have saved him. Like, if you're gonna cry about it, at least cry about it once you're in safety. If you cry about it in the moment, that's just messed up. But anyway, this entire thing happened because of a Snickers bar. So that was dumb. And after that, we get introduced to the characters. Scarlett Johansson. I don't know the names of a lot of them. A lot of the characters, just because they were so lame. But yeah, Scarlett Johansson gets approached by a business guy from Parkergenics. Is told, you know, they need a special mission. Blah blah blah. They'll give her 10 million, I think, for the job, if I remember correctly. It was 10 million. And we're told that she had a traumatic experience in the last job where she lost a friend, or I don't know, but someone close to her. And yeah, I don't know. The introduction was like, I mean, it was okay. It wasn't terrible. Like, it was an okay introduction to the character, but I don't know. I think they made it a little. They were trying to make it a little bit emotional at the beginning, but I don't know. Maybe it's just because I was going in with a very judgmental mind, because I wanted this film to be perfect, but clearly it was far from it. Then we introduced to all these other characters. My favorite character, Dunkin' Donuts, the black guy. Don't mean to sound weird, but black guy, Dunkin' Donuts. He's my favorite. Honestly, he is my favorite. I like that guy. And yeah, they go on. They hire this like doctor guy, nerdy guy. this little dinosaur nerdy guy, and for the first half of the movie, I kind of hated him because he was over here um, like mocking people. Like, how do I put this? Like, he's one of those types of people that is like, oh, the universe is gonna end in like 10 billion years, so why even bother? You know, like, you know those type of people. Yeah, he was one of those. It was like, oh, humans don't rule the world; they just think they do. They're like, the nature can decide one day that they're tired of us and just erase us from existence. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, I know. Like, he brings up the point that 99% of all species are now extinct. Uh, right. And I'm like, well, yeah, but that's just kind of dumb. I mean, the Romans, they were the rulers of the world. They're not rulers of the world anymore, but they were. You're not gonna say that. Oh yeah, they're not the rulers of the world. They were for a while, but whatever. Yeah, he was very pessimistic. He was one of those types of people, if you know what I mean. But anyway, and we get hit with this like Mosasaurus scene with the Spinosauruses. I was really disappointed when I found out that they changed the model for the Spinosauruses. I wish they kept the original Jurassic Park 3 model. That would have been so better, but then again, you hardly ever see the Spinosauruses. Like, the only time you get a good look at the Spinosaurus is when one of them is on the beach, and we'll get onto that later. But you don't really see them, so I guess it's not that bad. You hardly ever see them. But there's this, they're on this boat headed towards the island. They already got their Mosasaurus samples, and they rescued a family that got stranded on the boat. I'll talk about the family in a bit. And they get attacked, and the guy that's supposed to be like the security guy absolutely freaking sucks because he missed every single shot at the Spinosaurus. He had, if you remember Eddie Carr from Jurassic Park, from The Lost World, you know, he had the poison darts that could kill you in an instant, blah, blah, blah. Well, he was basically this movie's version of him. But he absolutely sucked at his job. Like, it wasn't like he was a bad character or anything, which, I mean, that's a completely different story. But he was bad at his job. Like, absolutely terrible at his job. I don't understand, like, how anyone could be so bad at aiming. Like, I mean, my mom can aim better than that. Like, I swear. But, he like misses every single shot at those Spinosauruses and then gets killed. He gets bitten by one of them. He gets dragged away and eaten. Which I like how they do deaths in this movie. They actually did them pretty good. These actually feel like very like heavy. Like damn, like that just happened. Like, you know, they hit pretty hard. They're like actually they feel tragic. Like if you like the character, it's gonna feel tragic because what's it? Like unlike the other movies where it's like, oh, they just get snatched. Like here, no, you see the killing, or a PG-13 version of the killing. So yeah, he dies. All the other people crash onto the ship, and then the family. We find this family in the beginning of the movie. They're like sailing. They're like going on their last little trip before the guy's daughter goes into college. It's this guy, his older daughter that's going off to college, his younger daughter that looks like she's going to second grade, and the boyfriend of the older daughter. And I'm going to say that the boyfriend was so annoying. I freaking hated him for like the first half of the movie. Even though he was funny, he was absolutely like I hated that guy. Like for a while, I just hated that guy. It was I hated him. It was like so dumb and everything. Like and then there was a part in the movie where he mentioned I think people call it the devil's lettuce. if I'm not mistaken. Well, he mentions that, and then I'm like, oh, this guy's high. No wonder. But anyway, so yeah, they get the Mosasaurus kind of sinks their boat, and then they get rescued by our team. Uh, Once the ship gets attacked by the Spinosaurus, they kind of get separated and try to make their way to this village. And one thing that I did actually like from the movie that the Gaming Beaver also pointed out was that the animals feel more like animals. To a certain extent, not perfectly, but like they feel pretty real. For example, the raptors. And let's talk about the raptors. So the boyfriend goes off to take care of his business, and instead of taking care of his business right there, like in the area, around the area, he decides to have a whole stroll through the woods in the middle of nowhere to go take a piss. Like, that's so stupid. Like, I was hoping he would die as he was taking a piss, because like, I swear that's like the dumbest thing you've got to do, bro. And like, they were all asleep, so like, he could have just like walked a few steps, you know, make sure they weren't looking at his, you know what, and just get it over with quick. But anyway, these two raptors are like stalking him, and they're like hunting. They're like actually hunting. There's something in the Gaming Beaver pointed out that you actually see them hunting, and they're like, they behave more organic, like humans, and that looked absolutely amazing. I didn't know what it was at the time. It wasn't until I watched the Gaming Beaver that I was like, oh yeah, that's the thing. But I absolutely loved how they were depicted in the movie. It is a shame that my poor guy got trampled. There's these new creatures called Mutodons, I think they're called. And they're basically velociraptors, but with wings and very thick necks, apparently. Well, one of those things killed the raptor that was about to kill the boyfriend, and then just flies away with him. And I don't know, the disrespect for my boy, come on. Like, that was so sad. I felt more sad for the raptor than I did for any of the side characters that died in this movie. It was stupid. But yeah. Later on, they keep going, and there's a whole raft scene with the family. They're trying to get away from the T-Rex and everything. I liked the little Dilophosaurus cameo. I know some people did not really like it that much. I did. It was nice. One thing I will say about this movie that I like way more than the previous movie is that the visuals in this movie, for the most part, are way better than the other ones. Because, tell me how does an animatronic look worse? How does Dominion, a movie that came out in 2022, or 2022, how did Dominion, a movie that came out in 2022, have animatronics that looked 10 times worse than the animatronics that appeared in the original Jurassic Park back in 1993? That does not make sense. The Dilophosaurus was a complete puppet. It was a puppet, 100% a puppet. Even today, I still can't believe that thing is a puppet. If I saw that, like back when I saw it originally, I thought it was CGI. I legit thought it was CGI. It wasn't until I got the disc for Jurassic Park that I watched the behind the scenes stuff, and I found out that the Dilophosaurus was a puppet. And that just got me thinking, like, how does a movie from today with way better technology, animatronics, puppeteering, you know, all that stuff, and CGI, how does a movie from today look way worse than a movie from the 90s? And that's the thing that I like about this movie, is that now they actually look organic and they move around naturally. They don't look wooden or stiff like they did in Dominion. which is what I absolutely love about this movie. That's one thing I actually do like. For the most part, like the dinosaur, like the animals themselves do look very good. They look absolutely amazing. Sometimes it's a different story, but um, generally speaking, it's pretty good. And hold up, let me hop on. Whee! Um, and yeah, eventually they collect all their DNA samples from Titanosaurus, Quetzalcoatlus, all this stuff. Um, and yeah, two characters die. The Bearded Man dies. To the Quetzalcoatlus, if I'm saying that correctly. The lady that the guy that Dunkin' Donuts was with, she died to the Spinosaurus. It was a very PG-13 death, but it was brutal nonetheless. She was kind of like unpacking this giant bag filled with supplies on the shore, and then the little Spinosaurus, he's like, "Oh, look, a little snack. I'm just gonna circle around, and I'm gonna sneak up on it from the ocean." And then it just attacks her like viciously, kills her, and it just drags her away, which was great. It was great, and also kind of funny, and also pretty traumatic. Cause just imagine seeing that. That I don't think I've seen a death like that since The Lost World. I don't think any other movie has deaths like that. Besides besides Lost World. I mean, in The Lost World, Eddie got ripped in half, so you really can't beat that. But anyway, that was that. And so eventually they get away and everything. They make it to the village, and of course there's a guy that's like the corporate guy, and of course he's gonna be a bad guy. I mean, that's kind of a thing with the movies. I mean, Hoskins, Dr. Wu, the Biosyn guy, I forgot his name, Henry, no, not Henry, Nedry, what's his name, the guy from The Lost World. I mean, if it's a corporate figure, they're gonna be a bad guy, so like, I mean, I don't even know why they even try to make it a plot twist or whatever, but yeah, he ends up threatening the girl because of some beef that they had earlier. Because the mercenaries and the family reunite at this village, and then they try to get a helicopter. And so yeah, basically he kind of holds him hostage, like, hey, like, we didn't need to do this, blah blah blah, and Zara, I think her name is, was like, oh, blah blah blah, like we can't do this, we need to get back home safely, blah blah blah. Anyway, and then this is where the D-Rex comes in. This is where we actually get to see the D-Rex in action. In my opinion, there was a lot of wasted potential with the D-Rex. They could have done a lot more, but I feel like they didn't really use him that much. If you know what I mean. Like, they could have done way more that would have made the ending of the movie a whole lot more like intense. At the beginning of the movie, at the end, they're all getting chased by the Mutodons and the D-Rex, and the first time we actually see the D-Rex on screen, well, the second time really, there's this helicopter that is roaming around that's coming into the village ready to pick up the survivors, and this thing just pulls up with the helicopter in hand with the people still alive in it. Like, people are still alive inside the helicopter, the pilots and everything, just in its hand, in its mouth, just chilling, and just yeets it across the freaking town. It is, it's just insane. And yeah, then we get the whole classic chase scene and everything. And overall, it's just like formulaic stuff, just typical chase scene. They get out. Corporate guy, bad guy, gets eaten by the D-Rex, the stuff, and Dunkin' Donuts does the whole hero thing because they have to release this emergency boat to get out of the island, but like it's stuck with some chains or something, and Black Widow has to break it with something. She has to break the chains. Um, well, there he kind of does like the whole like Ian Malcolm thing where he goes
and review this latest objective.
where he takes the flare and then he goes like, ah, I'm over here, you know, like how Ian did in Jurassic Park. And so yeah, Dunkin' Donuts just drives him off and they kind of fake out his death. It's presumed that he dies because in the distance you can see his flare turn off. And I was actually kind of sad. I was like, no, not Dunkin' Donut. Like I was actually kind of sad that he oh no, my T-Rex. No, Rexy, you're dead. No. She died. Okay. I need to make another T-Rex. And what's it? So yeah, but then it turns out to be like a fake out instead of actually him actually being dead. They do a fake out, and I don't know why, but for some reason I thought that they were gonna do like a double fake out, like, oh, he's alive. Psych, he gets snatched by a Spinosaurus or something. I would have that would have been funny, but at the same time really messed up. I don't know why my mind thought that, oh, they're gonna do a double fake out. They're gonna fake out like, oh, he's alive, and then gonna get immediately eaten. But yeah, that's where my mind went. I don't know why that happened. I don't know why that's what came to my head, but that happened. And yeah, they retrieve the samples. They get away with Dunkin' Donuts. The entire family is okay. They're getting sent out, even the boyfriend, unfortunately. But yeah, they're all safe. Black Widow, Dunkin' Donuts, the whole family. The doctor guy is also alive. And during, like, later, previously in the movie, they had the doctor and Scarlet had this conversation, like, what if we don't give it to the company, the samples to the company? Like, what if we make this open source and then everybody can have the cure? And then she was like, oh, but I don't make any money in that scenario. Like, bruh. I mean, yeah, it makes sense, but still. So yeah, she was like kind of hesitant to like gift the things, the DNA needed to make the cure, this medicine, because it's this company called Parkergenics, and what they need is DNA from the three biggest dinosaurs on land, sea, and air, and earth, air, water. They just need a firebender now. And they need it because apparently, since they're the biggest dinosaurs, they have the strongest hearts, the biggest, strongest hearts. And so this is supposed to be like a cure for heart disease, to prevent heart disease, and like probably bring up life expectancy by 20 years, which is a noble cause, but like, I mean, you know what they're gonna do with that. They're gonna make it expensive as hell. And yeah, so they have this chat, and she's over here like, oh, but that doesn't get me any money and stuff. It's kind of fair, but at the same time, she's a mercenary. All she cares is about money. But anyway, At the end, she has a change of heart and decides to listen to the scientist guy. They they're they're planning on releasing it for everyone. But the ending is kind of like it's kind of like the Jurassic Park ending, where they leave on the helicopter. Like in Jurassic Park, they leave on the helicopter, you know, and they have this all like nice scene with the pelicans and everything flying around. They had the same thing, but they were on the boat and there was dolphins. That was the only difference. Everything else was the same, but it just didn't hit as hard as in the original movie. Cause I don't know, it just felt lame. Like compared to Jurassic Park, the ending was just lame. I couldn't tell you why. I guess because like the entire movie was kind of like a lame experience, so like it kind of like didn't help that the ending was that simple. But anywho, oh yeah, that's kind of like how it's kind of how the movie went. There wasn't really anything interesting. The plot was like very dry. There wasn't a lot. It was just a story of like, oh, these guys, they go to an island, they collect some DNA, and that's it. They collect some DNA and get out of the island. And some people die, some people survive, and there's an annoying boyfriend that you just wish was eaten by velociraptors, but no. We decided to keep him alive because we hate you. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, overall, it was okay. It was kind of like mid throughout. The boyfriend was pretty funny sometimes. Like, the entire theater just kind of laughed sometimes at his comments. But that was just like about it.
I did it. Who's keeping score?
Me. I am. And yeah, that was just about it. Like, there was not a lot in the movie. It was really just that. And it was really just that. There wasn't much else to it. It's a simple movie. So, I mean, it is enjoyable. If you turn off your brain, it is enjoyable, which is usually what I do in movies. But like, even for my turned off brain, that was not not good. I mean, for example, John Wick. Like, I could just turn off my brain. I don't need the lore, the story of John Wick to be entertained by the movie. I just see gunfire and I'm happy. I see going pew pew, like I'm happy. But like this movie didn't even have that. Like my dad was freaking out because he was like, when is there gonna be blood? When is there gonna be violence? When are we gonna get the good stuff? And yeah, you tell him. Yeah, and my dad was just kind of bored throughout the whole thing. He almost fell asleep apparently, because, it's one thing when you judge a movie that's not your genre, you know, like I cannot give an honest review on like a romance movie because romance is simply not my. It's not gonna be my cup of tea, if you know what I mean. Like, it's not my thing. It's not my genre. So I'm not gonna be able to fairly judge it for what it is as a romance movie because I myself don't like romance movies. So that's why. So like me and my dad, we're both into action adventure movies. So, I don't need action to be entertained, like violence and stuff, but it does make it a whole lot better. So I was somewhat entertained by the movie. It was pretty good. However, it was something. If you really like action-packed movies, I wouldn't recommend this for you. Simply just because there's not really that much action going on. There are some action sequences, but those are like a few. And I mean, overall, I feel like this is the most boring Jurassic Park movie. Like I feel like this for me, it takes last place. Out of all the movies, this has got to be the worst one. Um, it's not necessarily like terrible, but compared to all the other ones, it is the worst. Like I would prefer to watch this movie than freaking Boss Baby. That's all I'm gonna say. I would like it's not worse than Boss Baby, so that's a plus. Um, but yeah, I mean overall it was somewhat entertaining. If you do enjoy that type of like some action but not a lot, mostly just adventure, like yeah, that'll be a great movie for you. Um, but for me, it was kind of lame, kind of like generic. It was just like a lame, simple storyline. Which I don't mind simple storylines, but at least make them fun to watch. This was not as fun to watch, so a storyline that was kind of like plus action, um, execution. You know, like it was entertaining, but like at the same time, like it's not like oh, like I like this. I'm not gonna say I like this movie. It was okay. It was like más o menos. Está so. So yeah, overall that's just my review on Jurassic World Rebirth. I wish they called it Jurassic World Extinction, but whatever. So thank you guys for watching. I will try to upload more videos more often. Also, I did record a Genshin Impact video. I don't know if y'all guys would be interested in that. I did that out of pure curiosity, but then I deleted Genshin Impact. So I don't know if y'all would want to watch the videos that I made and continue that series, or if you just want to stick with the Ghost of Tsushima, because I think that's what I'm gonna focus on right now, Ghost of Tsushima. But yeah, just let me know. Thank you guys for watching. The 3 people that are watching right now. I hope I get a bigger audience one day, but you know I gotta start somewhere. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.